here we go, ready? This one is exciting, you guys. Open her up and, oh, I love the little stickers. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so we have 3 surfaces and they are drilled top and bottom. And that means they are gonna go, let me show you a quick little teaser right here. We always include one of these little brochures so that you can see what you can do with your project of the month. So here are color samples. There's 2 different styles and you can just interchange. All of the stencils work together. And then these are meant to hang from each other so that you can have like stay wild, live boldly, be different, grow, bloom, love, that kind of thing. So you can mix and match your word choices and say the phrase that you would want to say on these. And you could also paint the backside and do something for Christmas or fall or something like that. So these just come off and they have a little sticky on the back that just rubs off. And there's a valuable coupon and some links also to go find us on Pinterest would be a really good one to use the QR code for, because you're going to see a lot of examples of how to use our stencils. Okay, we'll get in here. Let's look at these stickers. Love to hear feedback on the stickers because I just think they are so much fun. Elaine really killed it with these. I love this one. And this with the sunflowers on it and the polka dots. Oh, that'd be so cute together. Oh, and look at the little mushroom. It's a ladybug mushroom. Ha. Don't worry, beach happy. Okay, so let's see what we got for stencils. And you have a pile of stencils this month. We'll start with the words. So we have the stay wild, live boldly, be different words. So you can totally have just like bold statements. You could also use these on different projects. So this would be super fun to just be like on a 2x4 and cut it to that size and then give it as a gift for somebody for their desk. That would be lovely. And then this is a nice thin, little bit more sophisticated font. So this one, it's a little bit more minimalist. So, and then grow, bloom, and love. So we definitely are in a garden theme with this one. And then we've got lattice. We did not have a lattice stencil. You guys are getting this before anybody else. We thought this would just be a perfect addition to our stencil line. And then we've got some beautiful florals. You are gonna use this stencil over and over and over again. Okay, so I just love that you have different angles and you can also flip them over to make them go and bend the other way. And then this one I'll get to last. And this is fantastic. So this is sunflowers. I'm gonna put it in front of me so you can see it better. Sunflowers bending to the right, to the left with a stem, all of that kind of thing. So anything that you're gonna wanna put sunflowers on, you can do it. And then it's got a little 2-part piece so that when you get done basing, you can put that right over and then you can make the dark brown of the center. So it's super easy to get that done. And then today I'm going to show you how to do some shading and how to get rid of the white lines, or if you based it green lines, that kind of thing, behind your stenciling. So I'm going to show you that. And then these are here so that you can add extra leaves. So say, switch cameras here for a second. Say you want some leaves to finish this guy out. So you can put your leaves right behind there. You can, and I'll show you how to check your layout, because then you'll be like, okay, I know this is where I'm gonna put my sunflower, and I'll show you how to do a couple of quick steps for that. And then you can place your leaves and get them based. You can also put it on a stem. So you could totally just make that a stemmed one if you have a long skinny place that you wanna do a thing. So whatever way you wanna go. You could use these boards individually, and then if you wanted to, if you didn't like the holes, then what you can do is put a little rope through it. So if you did a central hanging right here, threaded it through there, you could thread it along here and then tie it and let it fray out the bottom so it's just like a little fringe. So that's a neat way that you can make them into individual things if you didn't want them in a stack. Okay, let's get started painting. So we're gonna get our boards base coated. I am gonna use the white palette and I'm gonna use a roller. Got some really excellent videos on how to use rollers that we've done recently. So make sure that you're checking out those other videos. Just go to our YouTube channel and you can look for a playlist and it's gonna have all kinds of things about rolling. All right, so I'm gonna dip my roller in white, roll it off, and then just do really light pressure on my board so I don't make a mess all along my edges. Okay, when you base your boards, I had to do 3 base coats, and you'll see that sometimes they get a little bit like a diving board with a little bit of flex. Once they completely dry and cure, then they'll flatten back down. So I really wanted to show you the lattice. I think that the ones that are on the simple, I think doing the greenery, I think is very straightforward. You can just pop some greenery on each side if you want to. You could do, this one, she's got sunflowers and greenery. So you can do it either way. I kind of like this offset because I want to be wild and I want to be bold and I want to be different. So we're going to do that. Now I'm going to need to be a little bit careful because my paint is still tacky. So we want to make sure that I don't lift when I'm taping my stencil down. So I might tack it off on my apron so it's a little bit less sticky. I want that corner to be lined up with my edge. So I'll give it a little tapey poo there. And then we know we are going to mask. We're going to stop on this line. So I'm going to go ahead and mask that line right there. And then I'll get out my multi-masker. And he can help me mask the rest, but that'll be taped down like that. Okay, brush and paper towel. One of the questions that we had this week was about bleeding under. And my answer was basically, if you're bleeding under, you're not spending enough time on this paper towel. So wipe, 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 and then go back and wipe a couple more times. Better to do 2 thin coats, than to do really heavy coats and bleed under and then have to fix it. Okay, so I'm using the masker to mask the stencil. And I want the lattice to be a suggestion. I don't want it to be bossy. Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh, that's super sweet. I think that's lovely. And how easy was that to do the lattice? Okay, so I have my lattice done, and they're gonna go this way. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna go ahead and do words first. All right, so I've got a good idea for how to get these on here straight. So I've put this down and put it about where I want my line to be, and then I'm gonna use my T-square on the nice straight edge of my stencil. And then I'm gonna make a line so that I'll know how to place it. And then I just need to measure this, and then I can place another line. And then this last one, I might actually run into myself. You know, it's pretty darn close. Actually, I'll go ahead and do that line now. If you don't want to have markings on your stencil, the Sharpie can be removed with rubbing alcohol. Okay, I've decided to use number 13, which is a nice, lovely, strong gray. And I'll just hold on to my stencil. Yeah, I like that. That's very lovely. Your Live Boldly is a little bit longer than the Stay Wild, but that does not matter because these are all meant to overflow onto like the lattice, over the lattice, the flowers over this, so everything's layered. So I'd rather have there be a similar amount of space on the end than to worry about it overlapping on my lattice. All right, so for our sunflower, who do I want to pick on right here? I think I might take this one that already has a leaf, but then I wanted to show leaf, but I can talk about leaf. So if I was, I've got a sample board right here. I was playing with colors. And so this is the one. So this one is a not, I don't like this one, so just ignore this one. This one has the white lines, but I wanted to diffuse them. So I went ahead and did what I'm going to show you how to do today. And then this one was not okay. But if I was doing my sunflower and I wanted to have leaves, I'm just going to paint in blue right now because the color's out. If I was doing it, I would use my yellow color and I would just lightly scumble on there. And you need to make sure, this is where you might want to get out your Sharpie again. You need to make sure that you mark the top so that you know that that is where it's going to sit, because lining that up, if you get all twisty-turny with this, or if you flipped your stencil over, it would be very difficult to line that back up. So then you're going to take your leaf guy and you're going to park him, because stencils are see-through. You can park your leaf wherever you're going to want it, and then you can get your little piece of tape, and then you can build, I'll go into gray. You can build your little green leaf back there. Okay. And now you can position your stencil right back on top of it. Once you get the green, like if you're going to shade your leaf or highlight your leaf, you'll do it through the stencil. And then once you get that greenery done, then you can go back on top, line it back up with your flower stencil. And then you're going to know, so that made it easy by having that mark there. And then I would base this part of the flower white and get rid of that dark color before I started doing yellow. Yellow is very difficult to base coat with over dark colors. So I would base everything in this white first, and then once it dries, go with my yellows and then do the next technique that I'm going to show you. Okay, so I'll get you can also tape through holes. So I've got this other sunflower that I'm not going to be using, and so I can do that right through that hole. We'll need our multi-masker, so we don't want our leaves to turn green or yellow, sorry. Okay, so my stencil is flopping because it's over the edge, so I just will put this other board under there to support it. We'll go here. And so that's going to be the same exact problem as I was talking about with the green. So we'll go through our stencil and we will just go ahead and get rid of all of the blue color with the white. Okay, now we're ready with our yellow. I'm stippling because I want the colors to be strong. Okay, and then I'm going to take a peek. That looks pretty darn good. I think I'm going to do one more coat, but I want to show you the technique first. So I'm going to remove that. And then what you can do with this is you can take all around where your flower is, and you can just give it a little scumble to just mask what's going on behind it. You could switch to a smaller brush, which I think I am going to do. I need control right here because I don't want it spilling out everywhere. So by doing that, that is going to mask what's going on in the background, and it will make your sunflower prettier. Okay, so now we put the stencil back on top. We're gonna give it one more stipply base coat. So we have our sunflower based, and now we're gonna do a little bit of shading. I'm gonna use Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylic. It's a very transparent color, and they're rich, 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 and amazing. So I'm gonna use a medium-sized brush, pick up that color on my brush. It looks really dark, but I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. All right, so now right next to the edge, we're gonna just rub really gently, and some of my paper towel got on my brush, right around the edges on the petal. You're not gonna stipple for this, you're just gonna rub. Okay, and we take a peek. Yeah, that looks so good. So much richer than if we just skipped this step. Now, if you don't like this step and you don't want to do this step, it's perfectly fine just to stipple them into a yellow color, whatever color you want. This is just a way to take it another step further. So if you wanted to be done right now, you could be like, I'm done. You know, we could put the center in and call it a day. So I'm just going to show you a couple more steps so that if you want to take it that way, you can. Okay, so we're going to get our number 10 yellow, and we're going to pick up the paint like you should never pick up the paint. So I've got a little wad on my paintbrush. I'm going to blot it off just a little bit. The wad of paint is important. And then I want to just kind of streak a wad of paint up the middle of my sunflower petals. I really want that color to be bold and bright. I don't want it to be bleeding under, so do be careful about your pressure. You could also, let me show you an alternate. You could get out a round brush and you could tip just the tip of it in your paint, and then you could just draw that right down the middle of your petals. If you know how to use a round brush, this is another good way. But you can make it work with the stencil brush. And then I might even peek and see if I think I have enough, and I might even go back and do just a little bit more on some of them. Peek again. Yeah, it's looking nice and yellow to me. With your round brushes and your tack-on brushes, the ones that aren't made out of bristles, you want to rinse your brush off right away and then put it off to the side to wash later. And we have a whole video on how to wash your brushes, so you can see all of that on that video. All right, next we are going to do number 43 and number 51 for our leaves. And so I'll just come over here. And I don't know if you know this, I use Bounty paper towels. If you use the back side of Bounty paper towels, they will give you a bunch of lint when you're rubbing off the paint. So never fold them where you can't read or see the pattern. It's something that they've changed. Apparently they're not coating the back and the front the same. So okay, so I like that. I'm going to side load just one side of my color right here to make it a smaller brush in that dark green. And when I wipe off the color, I'm going to keep it all on one side, okay? and then I'll see where my color is. And then what I want to do is I want to mask, and I'll lean my brush over that way and give it a little bit of a shadow effect. And then we'll take a peek and see if that's enough. Yeah, okay. So now we are done with the sunflower basics. So now let's put our center in. So each of the centers is below the flower on this stencil. So then we plunk that right on over that, and it will perfectly line up. And then this is called a two-part stencil, basically. So we're taking 44, I'm gonna wipe off the excess, and I'm gonna stipple to base it. Love the idea of having this be so precise so that you can put it exactly where it needs to be. And then you can take, it can be just kind of transparent a little bit. Take your little tiny baby brush, and you're just gonna pick up some of this black, or no black, it's number 17, it's a dark brown. And then you're just gonna put some dibbly dabs here and there. Take a peek and see if that looks like it makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And presto, changeo, abracadabra, we have a sunflower. Okay, I wanted to show you how to put it together and assemble. So what I did is I put a piece of string, so I've got this kind of like sisal kind of stuff. It's nice and thin. And I got this measured on this lower one, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull, I've got a knot on here, I'm gonna pull that so that I like it, and it seems about the same. And then I'm gonna knot it and pull it really close down to that hole. And then trim my string. So that's how you get it spaced and tied. Also, I did not cover using, you could use some of the other greenery, but this greenery is not really gonna fit with my little theme here today. But I could sprinkle a couple of butterflies or a couple of bumblebees in here, and the extra leaves, or these are extra sunflower petals if you wanted to layer your sunflower. So that's a handy thing to know about too. So you can put as many of the little embellishments on there as you want. If you love this project, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things, and we'll see you in the next video.